Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, and you're listening to the one and only podcast, The Rock Brigade. Turn it up.
You're on the Rock Brigade. My name's Jeb Wright.
I'm James Rozell.
And this is our very first
Podcast.
That's right. We've been together like almost as long as my wife. We're now finishing each other's sentences. Before we jump into the show, which is going to be a great show, we should probably tell them who's going to be on tonight.
We've got the metal god himself, Rob Halford.
Rob Halford.
And then we've got Robert Mason.
Robert
lead
Mason
singer
from Warrant. We did it again. We did it there.
Yes, we did.
And then Stephanie Leigh, she is a drummer for ThundHerStruck, who's hands down to me anyway, the best AC/DC all-girl tribute band in the world. So we're going to be interviewing them, and this is where the Rock Brigade gets cool because we're not like some, 30-year veteran radio journalist or, a music expert. We're fans, I'm a fan of the music. Yeah. I'm a rocker.
I'm definitely a rocker. Shit.
This is a show by rockers for rockers, and that's what the Rock Brigade is. We're setting up a Facebook page. Yep. How do they get there? I'm not the most tech savvy. I mean, they just go to Facebook.
Search the Rock Brigade.
That's it.
It should pop up.
So search the Rock Brigade. Join it. We're going to build this. We want to fundamentally promote the music we love. Yep. And we want you guys to join it. We don't want to just be the Rock Brigade. We want you to be a part of the Rock Brigade.
We want to hear feedback. We want to hear anything. Tell us we're doing good. If we suck, whatever, who you want to hear from. If we can get them, we'll get them.
We're not only going to do interviews. That's the cool thing.
No, we're going to play games.
Like pick one out. One we're not doing tonight. Pick a game out just to give them a taste.
Oh, buy, sell, or screw.
Yeah. Buy, sell, or screw. Buy, sell, or bang. We're not sure yet what we're going to call it. Basically, we'll name 3 bands at random, and then we have to
buy
a CD from.
Sell their CD. Which member of the group you would bang.
Yeah, so we're going to discuss that, and we're going to try to always discuss that with either a fan, somebody, a member of the Rock Brigade, people we've met over the years going to concerts and things like that.
Well, you never know, man. They can join the Rock Brigade, we might call them.
That's true. Yeah. We could pick something off Facebook, or perhaps, like you're going to find out tonight, we're going to ask Robert Mason to play a different game, but get him involved. And Stephanie Leigh from ThundHerStruck, she's going to talk with us. We're all going to argue over the best, worst AC/DC albums and stuff like that. So this is going to be not a podcast, which is kind of a weird word, podcast. It's not a podcast. I think it's a show.
Yes, but it's not that metal show.
No, because we're going to talk about other kinds of music besides metal. And again,
that rock show.
That rock show. I don't know if we could call it that. But we're going to hopefully laugh a lot, man. We want you to join us. We want to rock. We're going to also tell you about new releases. And here's what's coming up tonight. We're going to do a feature with the metal god himself, Rob Halford, where we discuss
30 years of Turbo.
Yeah, 30 years of Turbo. Priest is putting out a remastered CD with a bonus live concert. We're going to talk to Rob about all that. And then the next segment will be with Robert Mason, who is the current singer with Warrant. They just got out of the studio.
Yeah, with Jeff Pilson.
Yeah, Jeff Pilson of Dokken fame. He's now in Foreigner.
And they have a new CD coming out.
Yeah, so he's going to tell us about it. And if we can manage to twist his arm, we'll play one of these rock and roll games or segments, whatever you want to call it. Because he's a rock fan too. And all in all, man, I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad we're here.
I'm pumped about all this,
I am too, man.
Something different out there. Hopefully everybody likes it.
I think you will, but the key is go to Facebook after you listen to this. That's where you're going to find out where it is, when it is. My background comes from the website classicrockrevisited.com. I started it in 99. I've done over 1,000 interviews, so we're going to be having those interviews now on here, and you'll also be able to hear these interviews then as part of that website as we grow the Rock Brigade. And we just want you guys to come along and join us.
Yes, we do.
So I guess, James, you can tell everybody what's coming up first.
Let's see. First, we have Rob Halford.
Who?
Rob Halford.
and you guys can tell me this and leave notes on Facebook.
Yeah, we love feedback.
This is my Rob Halford impersonation.
That's pretty darn good.
It's pretty good, isn't it? Hi, guys. So when we get Rob on here, you can see if I sucked at that or not.
Yeah.
And maybe you could leave one of your own. I don't know.
That's good.
All right, so coming up now, let's get to it, man. Let's talk to the metal guy.
Let's do it.
Hello, Jeb.
Hey, Mr. Halford.
How are you?
I am great. It is an honor and a privilege once again to talk to the metal god. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
My pleasure, Jeb. It's always good to speak with you and tell all your fans and listeners about what's going on in the Priest world.
Thank you, man. As you know, we've done many interviews over the years, and you know that I kind of have a love of Priest music. Anytime,
oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, anytime we're going to talk about an anniversary, I get excited. This is, now, are you sitting down? I figured it up, Rob. This is like coming up on the 11,000th day since this album was released.
Is that what it is?
Isn't that crazy?
Only Jeb would be able to talk in the Sheldon-like manner. 11,000th day kind of vibe.
I'm telling you.
Is that how many days, man? Where did the time go? That's crazy. 30 years have gone by.
It has. It has. And I remember buying this one, and let me tell you why I remember it. And you know I'm a fan, so I'm going to talk like a fan. When you put out Point of Entry, it was a little bit of a turn, but I loved it.
Huh?
When you put out Turbo, it may be the most controversial move you guys ever made.
When I look back now, that was kind of like our black sheep of the family, and it was pushed out of the metal herd for a while, you know. and now, of course, it's kind of it's found its place, you know. It's found its place, and look, even when we went out on the last big world tour, when Glenn fires up that intro sound to Turbo,
yep,
to the track Turbo, the place goes nuts. The fans go crazy. It's become a record that has still got some kind of little bit of friction attached to it. But you know, as we've gone on from day one with Sandings of Destiny all the way up to Redeemer of Souls, we took everybody hopefully on this great metal journey with us. And Turbo was where we were at in 1986.
That's what I wanted to ask you, man, because we've never talked about this album in all our interviews. Did you guys sit down and go like, you know what, it's time to change, it's time to bring Priest from, you know, maybe more into a commercial direction, or is this just what organically happened?
You know, much like everything that we've done, we've kind of reflected on where we've been and what we are trying to aim for next. The big thing about this record, Jeb, is that for the first time in a long time, we were able to take our time. You know, there was a period in the early 80s when with Priest were literally banging out a record every year, yep, and a world tour every year. How did we do that? I don't know. It was just that we were running on fire. We were having the times of our lives. We had deadlines to meet. An incredible thing going with the label. So here's the deal. Turbo, the middle of the 1980s, right? We had a little bit of time to kind of pull back and take our time to make this record. So we were in a different place, you know. I mean, I was in a different place because I had so much coke up my nose. I don't know how I got through every day of the week because I was just I was raging at that point personally.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is, you know, 1986, America, 1986, the mid-80s was, you know, wherever you went, there was incredible things happening in rock and metal. I always kind of reflect as the 80s, particularly here in America, as being one of the greatest decades for our kind of music. I don't know whether you'd agree with me or not.
I do.
So we were wrapped up in all that, you know. We were wrapped up in all that excitement and good times and party, you know. And I think that we were making the record, the bulk of the record was made here in America, you know, going down the whiskey, hanging out on the strip,
That's
you
cool.
know, in Miami. Man, it was an absolute blast. And I think we were loving that moment, you know. The band was having a great time. There was a lot of that in the music from Turbo.
Well, I think it was, and I think you nailed it, man. It was the times. Now, if I were to ask you, though, looking back at the video for Turbo,
yeah,
that little guy,
yeah,
who came up with that?
Well, the great Wayne Isham, who was the man to go for your videos in the 80s.
That's cool.
Yeah, he worked with some great people, and we came up with these again, not so deadly serious things. Wayne was always about giving you a lot of energy, a lot of color, a lot of excitement, a lot of editing, when you look and listen to both the Turbo and the locked inside your video there from Turbo, they're like little mini movies, aren't they? But actually both of those videos connect. See, and there's the other thing, Jeb. MTV hit the airways for the first time ever, so bands were able to not only relish the great love affair that we always have had with our rock and roll radio. You know, don't get me started, Jeb. You know how much I love my radio. But to have that going hand in hand with the video experience as well, it's just a blast for everybody. So, you know, we were all caught up in this tremendous buzz through the 80s in all kinds of music, but particularly in rock and metal. So the video world, yeah, we ran to that. Our label was just very, very aggressive in making sure that with that particular release, we got focus on MTV particularly. So everything was just meshing in a really cool way.
It was, man. And you guys kind of gave, and I'll just put it this way, kind of a little bit of a middle finger with parental guidance, man.
Oh, man, PMRC, Tipper Gore and all that crew, what was going on? You know, we're like, you know, we were a British band, and as much as we did and always will love America, we couldn't figure this out, you know. Why are they attacking us? What are we doing? We're just out here having a good time with our fans, you know. It's just leave your troubles at home, come and rock out, have a few beers, you know, have a great night out together. And then suddenly we're being attacked for, you know, saying this and saying that and meaning this and meaning that. And it was all very, very bizarre for us to try and grasp it, you know. Because, you know, and primarily, I mean, the great thing I love about America is the Constitution, First Amendment. And so it was a case, well, we're just doing what your Constitution supports here. We're saying things and doing things that are the foundation, you know, the founding fathers said, let people say what they want to say.
Oh.
But anyway, so there we were, you know, the Filthy 16, Judas Priest, Sheena Easton, Prince, you know, it was just a very bizarre time. But we rolled with the punches.
That's true, man. And what I liked about it was now this was a time, and actually on the PMRC, come on, Eat Me Alive, that was the best they could get you guys for? I mean, that was nothing compared to a lot of what was out there.
You know, that was our, like, Deadpool moment.
Yeah, that's right.
It was just a spoof. It was just, I mean, I will say this, in reference now, I probably wouldn't write a lyric like that. But as far as it being a kind of a graphic kind of, you know, sexual innuendo type of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was a larger than life cartoon experience to some extent. But yeah, you know, it was just a very very peculiar time for that kind of thing to be going down.
Two songs, and you can put them together if you want to. I'm talking about both that were on this that I still think had elements of that classic Priest, because this was an off-ramp. It wasn't like a hard left turn. Out in the Cold, that to me is a great Priest song no matter what, and was probably overlooked. And then, of course, Wild Nights.
Yeah, Wild Nights was that kind of reference to Phoenix. We were spending a lot of time in Phoenix. I've still got a home out there. And Phoenix in the 80s was just as crazy as things that were going down in all of the major cities here in America. But Out in the Cold was really a typical relationship reference. I think that kind of struck a nerve in terms of the message of that song. And also, I think we tried to kind of reinvent the classic heavy metal ballad experience. You know, that's been the backbone of a lot of things that we've done in metal. So with these gadgets, these new inventions, these guitar synthesizers and so forth, Glenn came up with some really cool pieces in that particular track. So yeah, those are two solid tracks there, yeah, from Serbo.
Now, an exciting thing, because we only got a few minutes left, that we have to talk about is the 2-disc edition, man, of the live concert. Rob, do you guys just like have a drawer full of these things laying around, or where did you find this? You
know, I was just as surprised as you were, because we we've got a fantastic relationship with our label, and we're always looking to try and, when we do these reissues, these kind of these important reference points in the trail of Priest, we're always looking to find something to add on to the experience. And so, lo and behold, we find this amazing show out of Kansas, and I think it sounds like a Friday or a Saturday night because the place is going crazy. But it's a really important piece of music, you know, because obviously it includes some of the Turbo material. But it also highlights a lot of the other classic things that we were doing at the time. So that's a real nice addition to kind of put your head into and listen to and take you back to that time and sound that Priest was experiencing in the mid-'80s.
Now, do you really remember? Because I'll tell you this, I don't know if you know this, Kemp Arena, I'm from that area, and James is from that area. We've been to Kemp Arena. My first rock concert ever was not Priest at Kemper, it was Van Halen. When this came out, you and I have something in common. I was already in drug rehab.
Wow, well that's cool. That's a pretty wild thing to hear. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm with you. I'm up there, man. I mean, it's going to be 30 years, so.
Well, I'm so happy for you. I just passed my 31st birthday on the 6th of January.
Wow. So that's awesome, man.
For those Jeb's fans that know what we're talking about, you know, that are maybe on the same journey, we wish you all the best, and we send you our love. But I didn't know that, Jeb. So this is great, the way, you know, that side of our lives connect. So
you bet.
You know that venue. Is that Kemper Arena still there now, all these years later?
It is. It has not been torn down. It's not used very much, but it's still there. The big white building, you know, it had the frame on the outside. Oh yeah. Yep, it's still there.
You know, there's another reason for all the Jeb's fans to check out the connection here with Turbo.
You bet.
You know, it takes us way back together to that special night.
And you know, the cool thing is, now I'm going to correct you, it's actually in Missouri.
Yeah, okay.
Kansas City is on the border. There's two Kansas Cities, and one's Kansas and one's Missouri, and Kemper's just over the line into Missouri. But just the fact
Got it.
And that's just me being a Kansan telling you. I should claim it.
No, it's important. Hey, listen, that's very important because, you know, we often reference Priest as being a Birmingham band, and I'm not from Birmingham. I'm from a little town called Walsall, which is about 9 miles outside of Birmingham City.
Oh,
so I know how important that is to people. You've got to get your places in the right spot on the map, right?
Now, before we head, man, the thing I want to mention about this for the hardcores too is it's really cool, the Kemper show. A, you mentioned it's got the Turbo songs on it. B, that disc 3, dude, is pure classic Priest. And the other one is, you guys were on fire. That might be the best live version of Heading Out to the Highway I've ever heard.
You know, Jeb, I don't know how far into the tour we were at that time, but I think you'll find with a lot of bands, you know, when you're maybe halfway through a tour particularly, everything is firing on all cylinders. And when you hit the stage, there's something going on. It's very difficult to describe it, but you're almost like, not exactly an autopilot, because that wouldn't be the real thing to say. There's just a very special atmosphere and energy that's very inbuilt. You know, it's like you can sense there's a very, very unique kind of attitude and vibe going down with that show. So, yeah, it's a one-off, that's for sure. It's a unique night with Priest.
Dude, you're the best. I know the album No One Wants to Talk About is coming up on the way, so we'll do it again when that happens.
I'll be waiting, buddy. Thank you so much for everything.
Oh, don't thank me, man. I owe you about $1 million for all the pleasure I've got out of your music.
Always good to talk with you, my friend. Have a great year and have a great weekend.
You got it.
See you, Jeb.
See you, Rob. The one and only Rob Halford from Judas Priest, talking about Turbo. It was an album that really was a controversial album, don't you think, James?
Yes, it was. It went from, you know, you had Screaming for Vengeance, and then you went to this. It was a lot different.
I think, to his point, the one thing we can agree on, or maybe you'll disagree with me, is history has probably given it a little more love than some of us hardcore fans might have at the time, because I was a little shocked. I did like Turbo, though. I always liked that song.
Yeah, me too. But you got to think at that time, they were getting new fans that were not really metal fans.
That's true.
You know, you were picking up some of these teeny boppers and stuff that was just liking it for the beat and this and that. And true fans, no.
Yeah, you're probably right. But that's why I like this one. And if I'm going to plug it a little bit, maybe I'm being a bit of a salesman because I really do like Priest. But that's part of what makes this type of show good, man, is we don't have to pretend, you know.
Be straightforward.
It's really cool that they put that 2-disc concert on there.
I know, I'm looking at the track listing.
Tell them, I mean, read some of it.
Man, out in the cold, locked in, heading out to the highway, breaking the law, love bites, some heads are gonna roll.
Some heads are gonna roll.
Rock you all around the world. You know, they don't play a lot of these live anymore. Free Will Burning.
And then look at the end. I mean, you've got
Living After Midnight. You got Another Thing Coming, Hell Bent for Leather. Man.
Yeah. So I think they're doing the right thing. And I love seeing a band like Priest that will go back and at 30 years say, we're going to be involved with this. We want extra bonus tracks. We want new updated packaging. I mean, we'll do interviews, you know, to support it. I think Priest gets a lot of kudos for being that type of band.
All right, well, they can go out on tour nowadays and still pack an arena.
Yeah. And that's probably part of the reason why.
Yeah.
They never forgot their fans.
Nope.
Well, man, that's our first interview. How about that? The metal god himself. I've been
interviewing anybody better.
No, I've been interviewing him for years, and it's humbling. You know, when he, of course, Jeb helps. He remembers. Not a lot of Jebs out there, but it's so cool. You know, a 12-year-old Jeb's going like, Rob Halford knows my name. Coming up next, though, we're going to be talking to Robert Mason of Warrant.
Yep.
Of course, a lot of people that are dumb go, Janie Lane's the lead singer of Warrant.
Be kind of hard.
Yeah, not anymore. You know. Yeah, Robert is from Lynch Mob, and we'll be catching up to him in a few. We'll give him a buzz, and he's expecting our call, and we'll keep the Rock Brigade going. This is episode number 1. We're taping this, too, in the middle of an ice storm on Friday the frickin' 13th. Without further ado, man, this is Robert Mason of the band Warrant.
Hey, Robert, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, man.
Are you guys getting hit with, like, hellacious weather out there, or what?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, man, it's supposed to, like, ice. The Friday the 13th ice storm is hitting us, and luckily, I think by Sunday it'll be over, but between now and Sunday, I hope we don't lose power. So it won't be that you made us mad if suddenly everything goes dead, man.
Well, you know, I mean, here in Phoenix, we have equally scary weather. It got cloudy today, and it might go below 50.
There you go. I was going to say, bad weather in Phoenix. There you go. Cloudy and 50. Now, one of the things we want to talk about is Warrant. You guys just the other day finished the follow-up to Rockaholic.
Yeah. I just got off the phone with our mixing engineer, a guy named Chris Collier, who's awesome. And it was the first time he and I had actually spoken on the phone. I'd heard a lot of his work. He mixed the last Korn record. He's done a ton of stuff. But he's a younger guy. And I just got a couple of mixes from him, and he and I had a quick chat on the phone. I was going to let him call me back at his leisure, because I know he's got his arms full, you know, mixing our record. And I said, oh, shit, you're going to call me in a few minutes, and I have to start this phoner. So I called him, and I had to, by way of explanation, apologize to him for calling him in the middle of doing it. But we needed to discuss a couple of things. Our songs are turning out really cool. I'm pretty freaking proud of this. I'm about as proud of this vocally and performance-wise as I was. I mean, the Rockaholic record I love, still do, but a Cry of Love record that I did a bunch of years ago, and I'm still fiercely proud of those vocal performances. And it's not a reflection about the songs or the style or anything like that. It's just, I mean, now for my 2 seconds of being selfish, because I'm a lead singer and that's what people expect of me anyway, I'm really proud of the vocal performances on this record. And obviously, you know, we all do our part, but I'm loving the way it's turning out. What do you want to know about this record? And I'll tell you. I'm here to tell you, you are getting exclusives. You're getting it first. This is the first piece of press I'm doing. Awesome. So what do you want to know?
What was it like working with Pilsen?
Jeff and I have known each other since I was in Lynch Mob, so I've known him since '91. He and I always kind of got along, but
I spent probably the most time of anybody, days, hours in Jeff's presence in his studio. And I can tell you, not only does he make a mean cup of coffee, I help because we're both caffeine freaks, coffee freaks.
Like you need caffeine. Like you need more caffeine. I don't know about this.
I'm, right now I'm having a glass of red wine. I'm relaxing because in the mode of it's 5 o'clock somewhere, it's 5:26 right here.
But anyway, man, I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's not like Jeff doesn't have anything going on with all the Foreigner stuff and all the Doc and stuff. So it's pretty cool that he is at least crazy enough to keep taking on project after project, man. He has to bring an energy to it.
We cornered him and were like, okay, I love what you did on this. I think Dixon had listened to, oh my God, something he had done very recently. I'm sorry that it's escaping me right now. I should have his discography in my hand and be it like a good interviewer, but I suck, so I don't have it. But he had the Heavy Crown, the Heavy Crown thing that my buddy Andy Freeman had sung on.
Oh, was that a Frontiers thing too?
It was.
I think so. Yeah, Dixon, I think I had the download of that.
Dixon loved it, and when I heard it, I was like, okay, cool. I was already convinced. Jeff has great gear. His studio is awesome. It's tucked away up there in California, north of LA, and it was easy, and it just felt comfortable. For me, it's all about feeling like it's easy to be there, and you're really creative when you are, and it's an environment where you can get the best out. That's what a producer does. Jeff's also playing engineer during that time. Jeff's mantra was, I need to get a guy. I got to get a guy to do, I need an assistant. But he did it and did it justice, an amazing job. He's got great microphones, which means the most to me. If you're a guitar player and you're into amps and vintage guitars, which I am, and I'm into all that stuff too, but then he had a mic that we picked out to sing on, and it made me sound, I just told Chris, our engineer, made me sound better than I deserve to sound. I mean, it's all hail to vintage, amazing microphones and what they can do for your voice. So I'm psyched. The record's going to be called Louder, Harder, Faster.
Cool. Unless
the record company goes and says, hey, fuck you. But,
that'd be a good name too.
Hey,
right. The record company said no.
Oh.
No, man. I wrote it. I've been saying, here's the way that came about. On stage since probably 09, 10, 11. I don't remember when. Maybe it was after our record came out, 11 or 12. Hell, I don't remember. But as a thing to say between, I kind of just came out of my mouth one day, louder, harder, faster, and I screamed it into the microphone, and we started the next song. It's kind of like one of those dumb things lead singers say to break up the dead air between songs and live shows. And it kind of stuck in my head, and I started doing it. It was a thing, I kind of started saying. And one day I had a riff in my hands and a guitar in my house or in a hotel room, and then it turned into, oh, guys, by the way, I wrote this song. It's called Louder, Harder, Faster, and I think I half drunkenly said in a hotel bar one night when we were like 3 or 4 years ago, oh, by the way, the record should be called Louder, Harder, Faster because I have this fucking song. And that's what cocky lead singers say to their guitar players. And I think Joey Allen was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Believe it when I hear it, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
So there you go. I'm not saying I told you so, but when we came up with the songs for this record, it just kind of became obvious that was if you're going to name it after one of the songs, there you go. And so I just listened to a mix of it, and once again, I'm like, wow, that sounds better than I even thought it would be in my head, Did
they let you play guitar on it?
On that particular track, I did not.
You got a couple good ones in the band,
Yeah, well, fuck, I played the demo. I mean, I had to write the damn song and play it for the whole band and be like, that's kind of, I tell you what, though, as a song, and I don't fancy myself freaking Paul McCartney or some amazing songwriter, So I just do what I want, and hopefully it all comes out. And for that particular song, I just kind of demoed it. I took it up to Dixon's house in a super rough form, and then we properly demoed it. He played bass on it. I got to multi-track and do some background vocals and stuff. And he and I kind of fleshed out 99% of the songs for this record.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That way, he and I would just get together and bonk heads and arm wrestle over parts. And then and some of the stuff came just like an idea he had kind of half done or whatever percentage done. And I said, okay, cool, but I don't hear a chorus yet. Can you leave me alone for like a half an hour and see what I come up with? And then he would come back in the room. He's like, what do you got? And I would play it. And, and if he liked it, he'd be like, oh, this is great. Let's track it right here. So a lot of those songs got finished, so to speak, with he and I. So it's
That's cool though, man. What I hear you describing is like the way, to me, rock and roll should be, which is you should have it'll be organic. It should be somewhat spontaneous, at least coming off a riff, and then also the working together to build it to a finished song, man.
Well, not only is it organic, but it's mostly gluten-free too.
Mostly. I like mostly gluten-free.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, mostly, because every once in a while you're going to go to In-N-Out Burger.
Now, I do have to ask this, and this is such a generic bad question. It's my bad interviewing question. So, like, does the album, like, rock a lot?
Jesus.
In other words, is there a lot of slow shit on it, or is it pretty upbeat?
For me, I wanted to come out with a record that, and I know it almost sounds pompous to say, so I really hope people take this in the right spirit. Like, true fans maybe will. My initial vision for this was musically and sonically between like the big anthem, memorable hooky kind of stuff of Cherry Pie, and then the a little bit dark, a little bit harder of Dog Eat Dog, and it kind of like towards the writing of it, Dixon's got a real pop sense. I just want to do rock and scream, but then I have written, and no, I do. It's the truth. Like I talked with Joey early on, I'm like, dude, I want this thing to just crush. How, we're not getting any younger. How many more years can we do like a real serious rock record before it's comical because we're 70? Like really.
I hear you.
But then it might even be a little like a niche market, could be a little novelty. But then, Dixon's got like a real pop, and Jerry Dixon's a very underrated bass player. And so when he and I get together, he's got an idea for a thing. I tend to put guitars or vocal lines or whatever to what he writes, and it ends up sounding a lot more like those mid-tempo rock pop, not pop, but you know what I mean. Like,
sure.
Not a full-on four on the floor, just crushing you rock thing. He's got a little more, maybe, I call it Jerry Dixon's sensitive side. And I tend to comply with that and write stuff that then the band goes, well, this is going to be more mid-tempo. Yeah, but listen to the vocal line, listen to the thing, and look, you can play this real melodic solo thing over it where it's got a melody that people remember, and like bendy guitars. And that's a thing that I bring to the band, because as being a hack on piano and guitar, I do actually think in vocal melody. So everything I play, I don't play fast. I'm not like a licky, super, speedy guitar player by any means, but I bring whatever little bit of I have vocally, soulfully, whatever, to guitar parts. So when I'm working in, with somebody in the band, I do have definite solo ideas.
That's cool.
In my head, and if I don't hear them, I was cocky enough on this record to go, okay, Joey, I freaking love that blistering part you're playing right there, but right there now, can you change it up and do this? And I'll play him a little part. And he's like, okay. Then he needs to filter it through his mind and make it a Joey Allen part, and then he plays it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, there are lines where I draw from early, like Boston and Journey and
wow,
stuff that was on the poppy side of, as far as rock guitar goes. I want solos that I can whistle. Like I can whistle every guitar line from the first two Boston records.
Of course.
Every solo. Who can't?
Well, I mean, come on. You're talking about some great stuff. I mean, even with Journey, even people that think they're too poppy know that Neil Schon is one of the best melodic rock solos out there.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's, once again, I'm not being comparative to that,
No.
but that's where I draw from. Plus, I'm a huge Queen and Led Zeppelin and Humble Pie and Bad Company and, Thin Lizzy, and like I'm a freak for that stuff. So for me, all that, like the song has to tell a story, and the lyric has to be emotional on some level, whether it makes you just go, want to gnash the gas pedal down and speed and risk getting a ticket, or if it makes you want to feel something, go, oh, I felt like that, or, I had a whatever. I'm trying not to make too much out of it.
Yeah, but you also, especially with Warrant too, you're likely to have a member of the opposite sex with you, so you need some of that too, man.
Almost all the time, yeah. or as much as I can stand. Yeah.
And if you get tired of standing, you can always lay down.
Yeah, and it's important to have a couple, because if I fall asleep, they can talk to each other or something.
Do you guys have a release date for the album yet?
We do not have a hard release date. Record company's talking about. Well, originally they were talking about end of April, beginning of May. That'll kind of coincide. We're playing a date at M3 at the end of April.
Cool.
We're hoping to have it out then, but I don't have a date to promise yet. I just know the title. You know what I mean? I just know a bunch of the songs. I did actually. I had the band bugging me for years, because I've been flying out to Nashville and working with songwriters out there just to kind of broaden my horizons some and get to be a better songwriter. So I do that a few times a year and meet up. I try to almost never hang out with like the rock guys that moved out there. I really want to meet whatever country songwriters there are. So and the band knows that I love to play piano. It was my first instrument. I've got a big old grand piano in my house from a vintage Chickering from 1927. Wow. So it's like my baby.
Cool.
That's kind of like one of those stories. Basically, Ozzy bought me that piano when I was a background vocalist out on that tour. I wanted a vintage piano. We talked about it a lot. I came home and I had a little bonus in my bank account wired to me. So I was like, wow, okay, I'm gonna go searching. And I found this piano. It was just it's like finding anything. A girlfriend, a wife to be, or whatever, a car, or whatever, where the right set of circumstances just kind of fall into your lap, and you're like, oh, this was the quote unquote meant to be. Well, that's my piano.
What tour was you out with Ozzy on?
95, 96 Osmosis.
Oh, so wow. I love that. That's what we were just talking. Yes, James and I were just talking about that album the other day, man. I love that album. I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea you were on that tour.
I was a background vocalist. I was behind the curtain. I quite literally was the Wizard of Oz. I didn't talk about it for 20 years. I just recently, this last year, did an article. Some guy called me from the LA Weekly and wanted to do some one of those kind of 20 feet from stardom, like background vocalist, side players things. And I talked about it in an interview last year. It was one of those inside things where everybody knew about it in the industry, but they kind of kept it quiet at the time on the road, and it became like the stuff of legend. If people didn't know who I was, they called me the tent guy, because I was kind of in like an ISO booth on the side of the stage.
The tent guy. We were going to call you the tent guy from now on, I have a feeling.
Well, it's hysterical, because Twiggy from Manson's band, we were sitting on the Cry Love tour. We played with Cheap Trick, and we played, I think, the House of Blues on Sunset, and we were across the street at the Hyatt, at the legendary
Riot
House.
Oh, cool.
So we were staying there before split and go out of town. It was one of our last dates with Cry Love, with supporting Cheap Trick, and I'm sitting in the bar with Rick and Robin and one of my guys, I think my drummer, and Twiggy from Manson's band was there, and they're sitting and talking, and the conversation turned to how they were like bomb threats and people misunderstood Manson, and blah blah blah. The Bible thumpers were going after him, and I think I credit Rick Nielsen with this, I think, because he like points to me, and I'm kind of just sitting there having a drink after my show, just kind of fly on the wall, kind of not really participating in the conversation, because Twiggy's talking about a video they just filmed, and I guess they were friends. So, and he looks at me like, well, you know what he's talking about, and Twiggy looks at me like, well, who the fuck are you?
Oh, wow.
and kind of weird, like, and not feeling really uncomfortable, but I just went, well, yeah, I suppose. So Rick goes, well, he was Ozzy's background singer, and like back in black. So Twiggy's fucking jaw dropped on the floor, and he looks at me. No, but I meant verbatim. He looks at me. This is the first time I ever heard it. He looks at me and goes, "Wait, you're the tent guy?"
And I mean, I love Oz. I love him. Grew up. I mean, he's the soundtrack of my life. So basically, just so people understand, you kind of were maybe the guy doesn't hit the big note anymore and you were the big note?
I was, I was hired as a background vocalist. Bernard Fowler and Lisa Fisher do it for Mick Jagger. There's a bunch of people, like a bunch of bands go out. Oz, to his credit, didn't want to use samples or any kind of weird tracking or tapes. And so Sharon called me in the fall of '95 and said, "Look, we want to go out on the road. Oz loves your voice. You came highly recommended. Can you come out on the road with us?" And I was out of Lynch Mob. I was doing sessions for Keith Olsen. I was doing a bunch of little things here and there. And I was home in Arizona. I thought, well, okay, sure. And she paid me very well and flew me out to Europe. And within a week or two, I was out there doing shows, and we played arenas for the better part of a year.
That's cool.
My last show was Donington with Kiss and Sepultura and all those bands. So in the summer of '96, and I left that band because the guys at Columbia Records had called, and Cry Love guys, and said, "Look, we really want to do this record. You're our singer. We pick you. Can you do it?" And I said, "Well, I'm on a tour right now, but good thing it's with the same record company. Can you please call Sharon Osbourne? And if you want me in this, I'll do it. But we have to be good to both sides and get me out of this so everybody's happy." So I did an extra almost 2 months for Oz once I heard about the Cry Love gig, and I sat down with Oz and Sharon and had a meeting and said, "Look, I love doing this and I love you guys, but I want to be a lead singer again. And here's this opportunity. It's with the same record company. It's Columbia. I'm asking you, are you going to be okay if I leave?" And Ozzy pretty much just said, "Stay through Donington."
Cool.
So I did. I mean, yeah, do it. Did I double some courses? Sure. I love to sing. Who doesn't love to sing Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne songs? But essentially, I was the background vocalist. If you listen to a lot of those songs, they either have doubled choruses or stuff on the records where it's just natural to make it sound better live. You do those parts. So that was my job. I was the Wizard of Oz, dude.
That's so cool. Well, man, I love catching up. Now that we know we got a couple months to go, we'll do this again when the album comes out proper, and we get to hear it, and we'll let you know what we think, and we'll review it and all that stuff. But before I let you go, James and I do some stuff on here that's different than regular stuff. That sounds very wrong, James.
Oh, it does.
It sounds like I don't either. I hope it's not video.
No, we keep it behind the curtain.
Yeah, we're behind the curtain. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, what happens behind the curtain stays there.
But what we do to make
I don't have to sign a waiver, do I? Or just...
No, nothing like that, man. We do some segments, and just from the times, one of the first things when I ever talked to you a while back was I could tell you love music, and we both love a lot of the 70s music. And we do some stuff where we become fans instead. Well, we are fans, but instead of a rock star, you could be a fan for it only takes a couple minutes. And what we got to do is each just whatever it is, name a band, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do. James, name a band.
The Monkees.
Oh God. Robert, name a band.
Let's see, Humble Pie.
Oh, good one.
Hey.
And I'm going to go away from both the Monkees and Humble Pie. We'll go a little punk rock. We'll do Styx.
Hey.
And this is a segment that James and I invented, and it's just called Join, Quit, or Manage. And in the next couple minutes, we have to decide which band we would join, which band we would quit, and which band we would manage. So what are your thoughts? We'll let James start. Which band of those three would you want to join?
Oh man, probably Humble Pie.
Why?
Oh, just because
they're the most
classic.
Yeah, they're the most classic of the three.
It's sure going to be the Monkees.
What about you, Mason?
Man, you made that a tough one. Man, just for the sake of being different, I don't really know. Wow, God, this is tough. Well, there are no wrong answers.
No wrong answers.
No. What if I quit Styx because Tommy Shaw is just too fucking amazing?
Oh,
and I couldn't sing higher than him.
That's true.
And they're already doing well and on their way. They already have way too many players. I would manage Humble Pie and join the Monkees.
Join the Monkees, really? Yeah. Is it because you think you'd be good on the TV show, or? Well,
yeah, I think I could. Bring a little darker element to the Davy Jones thing. He can dance and play a tambourine, but we all knew who the real genius was behind that thing. And I honestly was a Monkees fan when I was a real little kid.
Well, that's
and
cool.
actually listened. I have memories of listening to Monkees LPs with some of their darker stuff, like real trippy kind of late 60s acid trip sort of songs that were really kind of cool.
I agree, man. I think this. So you're saying who'd you say? Join Monkees,
Yeah.
quit Styx,
And manage them.
And manage Humble Pie. Because,
Oh,
they
boy,
had-
you managed
they had-
Marriott, man.
No.
Well, but man, they had Marriott and they had Frampton. Like, and I've
There
met
you
both
go.
those guys. Well, I met Marriott once while he was alive, but I've played with Frampton at a jam thing a couple of times. But I have so much respect for them. I just always wanted them to be a bigger band, so I would
Very
tirelessly
cool.
work to figure out how to make them a bigger, more successful band, and maybe management was the key.
That's true.
God,
Yeah.
man. Usually what we try to do is all come to a consensus, but I don't know that I can beat that because you just gave the number one reason to manage Pie, and I can't argue with that. I think, I don't know. I might join Styx instead of the Monkees. I might quit the Monkees. I just don't think I'd fit in with the guys, man.
Your head's a little too shiny.
Yeah, it is. I'm bald, man. I'd have to wear a skull cap. You couldn't do that. I don't know if I could do that in Styx either. They might put a scarf on. What? Okay.
Well, I love that like kind of convertible station wagon meets a GTO they used to drive around in.
That's true.
I'd have to drive that sucker around.
You were going to join Pie, or are you changing your answer, James?
I don't know. No, I think I'm going to stick with it.
And who you quitting?
Sticks.
Yeah, you would quit Styx. I like Styx. Grand
And see, I'm
Delusion's
going to
good.
manage the Monkees just because Robert's in it.
Oh, listen to that. Can I be the tent guy for the Monkees?
You know what's really funny is an early memory of my dad. The first time, I think he was teaching me to drive, and I was like a kid. Like, you have to understand, my dad had a very short racing career, so I've always been a hot rod kid. So he would take me out in like the family car, you know, and then when I had my own car way before I could drive. So I never had to steal a car and drive illegally as like an early teen. My dad took me out to drive. Hey, it's going to start snowing. I need to teach you how to drive in the snow. Let's take the old Chevelle and go rocking around a parking lot so you can feel what it's like to spin out in snow. So I remember us taking a drive when he was teaching me how to drive a stick shift, and I had an old 1970 Nova, which was my first hot rod, by the way. So I'm driving it around, and I remember the old FM radio, the old AC Delco radio that would pop because it was a tube radio.
Yep.
In that car, you'd hear it come on, and Come Sail Away came on, and I mean, you hear Dennis, and it's that extremely. Now, my dad also sang a little bit, so that's kind of genetically where I get it from. So he was all about soul and R&B and like Sinatra and Elvis and Tony Bennett and the Hi-Los and the Four Freshmen and Sam Cooke and Otis Redding and God, all that stuff. I'm forgetting a few, but I remember that song. I remember that I'm sailing away, and it was super like clean and white. I remember my dad looking at me and turn the radio off and go, "What the fuck is this?" For real.
Oh, that's awesome, man. It is. It is.
Great.
Hey, Mason, man, Robert, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this and to hang out with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Dude, I'll come see you if you let me on the next time you're out, and I do want to do a follow-up with the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do, I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of press because that's what everybody's been, everybody who thinks in a managerial or booking agency capacity always says, well, if you have a record out, we can book more shows and we can do more press. And, we're just happy to have the opportunity to put more songs out and to talk about it. The reality is, a million Warrant records don't fly off shelves anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's not really what we're after. I just kind of wanted to, like I said, I did a piano ballad. We could talk about that a little more too. That one I did play the guitar solo on. So there.
Hey, awesome.
All right.
Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a lot this year. It's gonna be good fun. We will catch up when we have a record out, man.
You got it, dude. And I'll be there at any date you're in. You guys are fun to watch. And I don't mind. Okay. I'm going to break the journalistic rule and go to the art of ass kissing. Dude, you're one of my favorite singers out in the band right now. I love listening to you sing. That sounds a little bit gay for a guy to say, but I love listening to your voice, man. You really
Those red panties you get to target.
Oh, would you just get off the red panties, man?
If that's what it took to do it for me.
then I'd be in, baby.
Oh, man. You'd be in the tip.
Technically, when I'm writing songs like on my piano, you are not my target demographic.
That's probably a good thing. My wife is really gonna question me when she hears this section of the podcast.
You know what? For the louder, harder, faster thing, even though that song's technically about a girl going to a concert, because obviously it's got the not so thinly veiled, sexual innuendo.
Right.
Which it wouldn't be a Warrant record if we didn't have some of that. But that's a good rock tune. So hopefully, man, the world digs a few of these. It's all you hope as a songwriter, and getting up there and singing. It's the greatest reward in the world to see people that appreciate what you do, and I consider myself really fortunate.
All right, man. Cool. That's awesome. So go have your night, and it might be more important to call the guy mixing your record than talk to me any longer.
Hey, man, and check out, first off, I'm honored to be on the show right after Rob, and also our Instagram is Warrant Rocks, Facebook, all that. Make sure you just pimp the snot out of that stuff, because
definitely,
because we love the whole social media thing. It's actually really cool.
Awesome, dude. We'll probably send you. We're getting ours set up too, because this is our first show. We want everyone to go to our Facebook page, and we'll do all we can, that link and stuff, and let everybody know.
Cool, man. Tell everybody louder, harder, faster.
You got it.
Take care, you guys.
Yep.
See you, Robert. He's a cool dude, ain't he?
So I think people ought to tell us what they think.
Yeah, it's not.
We want to know what you think.
We do want to know what you think. If you are seeing this live, let us know. It's the initial broadcast, and when we're done, we got one more segment. We'll give you a little hint on too. But when you're done, we do have a Facebook page.
Yeah, it is Rock Brigade, the Rock Brigade.
So go there, and this will be there, and every week we're going to keep building this. So we're in our baby infant stages, but with people, that's why we need to know your feedback.
Yes.
Yo, Jeb.
What's going on, lady?
Oh my God, just going crazy. Friday night crazy.
I'm talking with Stephanie Leigh of ThundHerStruck, who I'm going to tell you, I'm biased, but I'm not lying. The best AC/DC band out there other than AC/DC, and they all happen to be really cute girls, so that's even better, man.
The novelty that kicks ass.
There it is. I couldn't say it. I couldn't have said it that good. The novelty that kicks ass. Rob Halford was our debut interview, which was really cool. And then we talked to Robert Mason, who is the current vocalist in Warrant, used to be in the Lynch Mob back in the day. And I thought, I want a third person, and I want this person to be somebody that's A, kick-ass cool, and B, somebody that loves music like I love music. And then I thought, Steph! Are you guys doing something at NAMM?
We are. We're actually playing at the Electro Voice booth, the EV booth, and it's going to be acoustic. So
cool.
We've done that several years back for Electro Voice. I can't remember if it was at the Messe in Germany or here at the NAMM. They're the national music conventions.
Yep.
So AC/DC acoustic style, I swear, it's a lot of fun, but it's a different kind of vibe.
For people that don't know, I wanted to give you a chance too to kind of promote what you do and what else you are doing, man. Fill me in on what's happening with Stephanie.
Well, honestly, like ThundHerStruck, we've been doing it for over a decade. It's an honor to be able to do some of these events because we try to do military fundraisers, things like that. So we did the tribute festival, which was homeless vets, and again, those are awesome to be able to do and be a part of for a really great cause. So that's where all of us in our hearts are, is when we can do something like that. That's incredible. Love playing the festivals and all the different Encompass events that come our way. We're grateful for all those. They're a lot of fun. It's again, just being involved with ThundHerStruck and then normal lives, because all five of us are very different. Dinah as the forensic scientist that she is, and Tina, the luthier, guitar build and repair that, exclusives for certain. So all of us have real lives that we have. I've got, I'm like the only family chick, unbelievably, but I've got kids and a family to come home to. But to do that, we're like the weekend warrior girls. So when we go out, it's a fun time. It's a great show. We've all been friends and in other bands for so long. Like we were the Bud Light band way back, and we've done different CDs together and different stuff. So Tina and I were signed with CBS Records. Diane and Tina were in Phantom Blues. So it's like a family of bands that we've all been a part of together collectively for decades, you know. So
now,
talk like that.
Talk about AC/DC. Were you like a fan of AC/DC before you did this?
Absolutely. My brother, my older brother, that's how I got turned on. You know, it's like I stole his album, Back in Black kind of thing. So that's where it all began. And the AC/DC is a phenomenal rock band because they've been around a long time, of course, but just the music, the style, it sounds kind of easy and this and that. It really isn't. A lot of it is backbeat, boogie, blues. They're so diverse in their rock and roll and all of the different things that they've done. So I love their music. People always say, what's your favorite song? It's so difficult. There's so many different, unique songs, you know, that are incredible. So they're a great band. Now, we were blessed to have Chris Slade, the drummer, sit in when I went out for maternity, and we had a gig in Afghanistan and all that. So he sat in with ThundHerStruck and finished my summer tour, which was awesome.
You brought it up, so I'm going to ask you. Simon Wright, Cliff Slade, Phil Rudd. Which is your favorite to play?
You know, I would have to just say it's AC/DC-ish Stephanie Leigh, because I got to be honest, Slade, I think, plays a lot more hard ass. He's a great player. He really shines on this stuff. Phil Rudd, he's been forever, but it's just a solid, good feel with Phil, you know, solid and good.
Well, we just wanted to catch up and kind of introduce you to everyone, because you never know. We might want to have you on as a guest now and then, or maybe one of the other band members, and keep us all year long what's going on until we get to maybe if you play Moondance again. But I wanted to introduce you to the show and introduce that. And one of the things we're going to do, Steph, that's different than a lot of the things that are out there is we like to have a little more fun. So we have a segment that's called Best, Worst, and Underrated. And I would say you're the best. James is the worst. I'm the underrated. But anyway. But anyway, what we do is we pick a band and talk about it. Just spend a couple minutes, and it's kind of, we thought this would be a great way to end our interview. Would you be willing to do that with AC/DC?
Oh, please, anytime, man. Always fun picking and chewing the fat with you, babe.
Well, let's do it. James, start us out. What's the best? We got 2 minutes. We got to come up with the best. Which is the best AC/DC album that we can all agree on? What do you say?
Mine would have to be Highway to Hell.
Oh, yeah. Again, it's one of those certain days it's Highway to Hell, and other days Back in Black.
Yeah, there you go.
Powers was pretty good, but again, you know, you're talking video-wise, Live in Donington was a ripper. That was just the best.
That's true. But live albums are cheating, man.
And the video, yeah, I get it. It's like, damn, that's a thumper. That was.
I'm going to agree with you that to me there's lots of favorites. I mean, we all have our personal favorites things, but to me it's Highway to Hell and AC/DC. But if on any given day, excuse me, it's Highway to Hell or Back in Black. On any given day, it can be either one. But for today, I still don't know how you don't say Back in Black.
Oh, for the favorite song, the favorite album?
I'm telling you, yeah, the best AC. If you're turning someone on to AC/DC, how do you not start with Back in Black?
It's the hits from Back in Black that are just, you know, again, I think that's what's iconic about, like, when you think AC/DC, most of those songs are ones that come to mind that you're thumping on. But again, not to take away from Highway to Hell. It's just, if people get into the story of AC/DC and Bon Scott and Brian and the difference and stuff, it's quite incredible, you know, how things went down and how it happened and how smooth transition-wise Brian did pick up on a kick-ass band that really to replace Bon Scott was 1 in a million, literally. So, you know, incredible. But yeah, depends on my mood, maybe my drinks. It's like if I'm doing Highway to Hell, Back in Black. You compare songs like Ride On versus ThundHerStruck. I mean, it's just way different emotions and rock and roll, you know?
Well, for the purpose of our game here, though, I think James is staying with Highway. I'm staying with Back. What's your mood tonight? What have you been drinking, Steph?
Not enough. Back in Black.
Back in Black.
Back in Black.
Wow.
Okay, now we're going to go with, here's the tough one, but everyone has one. The worst AC/DC album.
You know, there's been so many, not worse ones, but like ones that are under the radar.
Blow up your video.
I got a pass on that, man.
I knew you'd chicken out on me. I think James hit the nail on the head, man. What'd you say?
I said blow up your video.
Other than I'm ready to rock. Other than that song, I don't like Blow Up Your Video all that well either. Although mine would be that Rock and Roll Train one. I didn't like that album very much.
Really?
Blow Up Your Video. I'll go with that. Wouldn't you pop that one in?
Yeah, well, other than that song, it's not. Everyone has it. You're an artist. I'm a musician. There's great albums, there's good albums, and there's some that aren't as good as the others. That's Blow Up Your Video. It's not that it's bad. It's not as good as the others. Now the fun one, and we'll end it with this, Steph and James. We got our best, Back in Black. We got our worst, Blow Up Your Video. What's their underrated one? What's the one that you love that maybe not everyone else does? And I'll start. I haven't started yet. This is tough for me because, like Steph was talking about, I mean, you're in ThundHerStruck. You're the drummer. You're Stephanie Leigh. You know AC/DC really well. I get that Bon Scott difference, too. I don't think of Bon Scott albums as underrated, but some of them weren't as big sellers as the others because they hadn't hit the big time. So I'm going to go that route, and I'm going to say the very first, High Voltage, because it's got TNT, and it's got It's a Long Way to the Top if you got to rock and roll, and as well as the Jack. But people don't ever just go, hey, I want to listen to High Voltage. They should, but they don't. So my underrated classic is High Voltage.
That would have to be mine, too, I think. I mean,
you know, I was almost going to go with Powerage, but I think you're right, because there's not enough on Powerage. Like you're saying, there's substantial frickin' rock and roll rippers, you know? So...
Although it's pretty good. Yeah. When you guys ripped out Rock and Roll Damnation in the Moondance Saloon. That was badass, man. Well, Steph, would you be willing to keep on and keep coming back if we bug you now and then? Not every week, but I mean, once in a while.
Hey, man, always a pleasure to be bugged, babe.
Well, I'll let you go have your Friday, and thank you so much for doing this, Steph. You're a rocker, you're a great drummer, and you're a good friend.
Right on, guys. You guys have a great Friday night, and rock on.
You got it.
Later.
Bye.
How'd you like this first show?
I think the first thing we need to realize is that we did it.
I know. And we survived.
Oh, man. This was a lot of fun, man, and I'm hoping this is the start of the Rock Brigade for all the fans that are listening, too.
Me, too.
And once again, we're going to reiterate it. Go to Facebook.
Yep.
It is...
do a search. Look it up. Rock Brigade.
And it'll come up. And hit like, and we'll start posting some stuff up there. We'll let you know when the second show's coming up.
Give us feedback. Give us whatever. Tell us we suck. Whatever. We want to hear from you.
Don't tell me if I suck. I mean, I'm kind of thin-skinned.
It's only because you're wearing those red panties from Target.
That's an inside joke because James, one day I made a comment. I said, you have the biggest collection of women's lingerie and you're single. What the hell?
Hey, what can I say?
Souvenirs. But this is it, man. This has been the Rock Brigade. We will update you. We are booking the second show right now.
Yes, we are.
Should we give away a little bit, maybe of one interview we got that's going to be on the next episode?
Yeah. Give them a little hint.
Because I don't want to be, I'm not sure we want to be once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to do that, would you? Might get attacked by a great white.
That's right. Might get attacked. And then when that happens, you tend to be tossed out of the band.
Yeah, no joke.
Let's just tell them, okay, we're going to have an interview with Jack Russell of Jack Russell's Great White, as opposed to the current James Rozell's Great White and the Jeb Wright's Great White. And the Great White themselves.
Yes.
But no, Jack's going to be here on the show promoting his new
CD.
And then we're going to have other guests, and we're working on a big name, but we're not sure. We're so popular already. We're debating between two people to be the headliner, like Halford was our headliner. So we'll wait and make you guess on that. But also look for more interaction as we gain fans. We're going to have more interaction with you guys.
Hopefully have some prizes, giveaways, stuff like that.
We'll have them for sure.
Yep.
I can shoplift pretty good, so we'll get a box set or something.
No more of those ABBA CDs, though.
Hey, I keep those, man.
Thought that was the Go-Go's.
Hey, don't mess with my Go-Go's. All right, man. That's the show tonight. We had Halford and Mason
Robert
from
Mason,
Warrant and Steph from ThundHerStruck. Thank all of them 100%. Thank you, James, for being here.
Thank you, Jim. Big thank you to Cameron, our
Thank
sound
you,
guy.
my son Cameron. I'll say he's my son. My son Cameron, who did the sound, without which you would be probably we'd be crying over here
Yes.
trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
But until the next show,
Keep on rocking.
this is the Rock Brigade.